Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. I hope that you're still harding. 3, 2, 1, Matt, there we are, Margie's little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright because, I'm pretty sure, gosh, look how bright they are. My delicious little babies, they're shining bright, shining bright, shining bright. Now then, my delicious little babies, walk like an Egyptian. Boom! Doom, 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 doom. Boom! Doom, 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 doom. Oh, yeah. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm going to leave that part there. Now then, so I have quite a few things to say now, my delicious little babies, because I've always said, that I'm pretty sure that ones can watch YouTube without putting a view or anything like this now then, yes, okay, because I do know that because I've got it across my shoulders. Okay, my delicious little babies, so there we are, okay, it's coming again. Here comes the rain again. Wanna dive into your ocean? Is it raining with you? So baby, talk to me like lovers do. You need to take bits and pieces out of the words, what I've just sang, my delicious little babies, Eurythmics, wasn't it? Okay, my delicious little babies, now then. So, yeah. I was just listening to a song, what is it? My baby, him don't talk sweet. He ain't got much to say. But he loves me, loves me, loves me. I know that he loves me anyway. And maybe he don't dress fine, but I don't really mind. You see what I mean? When we actually go back in time, my delicious little babies, let's go back to when we were, there we are, when we were born, my delicious little babies. And by the way, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? It's nearly 5:45 in the evening, my delicious little babies, in our old England. And the weather is a little bit chillier, but it has been warmer today, my delicious little babies. And that doesn't mean yes and no, I can't be doing with that crap, okay? The fact of the matter is it's a very grey sky. And the temperatures dropped come evening, but then again, so saying that, you can go to other countries, you know what I mean, there we are, I've been to other countries when in the daytime, there we are, it's super duper hot, and then at night time, there we are, it can equally be super duper hot. It's very humid, very hot, very stuffy. But then you can go to other countries where, as hot as it is at night, the temperature really, there we are, really drops. So you wouldn't even feel that you're in the same country come day or night. You get what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, so let me get back to the matter in hand. What I was just saying to you, my delicious little babies. I'm hoping, there we are, that ones can hear and ones can see what I'm saying. That at the end of the day, my delicious little babies, when we were born, there we are, rich, as we'd say in Irish terms, yes? We were born full, there we are, and wholesome. Okay, there we are, my delicious little babies. Okay, we're this beautiful bundle of joy, each and every one of us. We came into the world, okay? We never knew, for some of us, what life would bring, or the adventures of life would bring, okay? And some very sad, and others mediocre, and others extremely happy for what they thought. Not getting anything across my shoulders, my delicious little babies. But at the same time, when we were born into the world, brawn, you know, bricks and brawn, there we are, our delicious little babies. Do you ever remember that? I remember decades ago, my delicious little babies, please and thank you. You need to please and thank you follow. There we are, what I'm explaining to you. When I was a 14 or nearly 15 or something, I was bought one of these brawn. It was called Brawn, BRAUN, my delicious little babies. And it was this brawn where, you know, where instead of having to shave, you know, with a normal razor, my delicious little babies, that's what I use. Okay, my delicious little babies, I use a real razor. So when I shave my arms or when I shave my legs, I use a proper razor, my delicious little babies, okay? And no, I'm not one of these, shall we say, naturists where everything has to be shaved off. I believe that when we're brought into the world, my delicious little babies, we're brought in, okay, with hair and, do you know what I mean? Okay, for a woman, you know, maybe decades and decades ago, it was different then, okay? So things seem to have evolved since then, okay? But the fact is, a little bit of a trim here and there, no problem. But full naturist, I seem to have a very large a very large problem with my delicious little babies, if you follow me. So no, I'll stick to your good old razor. But back in those days, my delicious little babies, I'm still young now, but when I look back, it was all like electric, you know what I mean? So, you know, you could do your arms, which I do, your arms, your legs, you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? I shan't get too personal. And the fact of the matter is that, oh yeah, it's meant to look like this boo-boo, super duper thing. Well, when I left her, my delicious little babies, I only had 5 carrier bags. There we are, 5 carrier bags is what I had, 5. My life number's 5. My delicious little babies. I've said this previously on other videos. What was the one thing now that I never wanted to take with me? Was the electric brawn shaver. My delicious little babies. I never wanted to take it. So, like, if I pluck my eyebrows, Please do not get me wrong. If I've been to to go and get my eyebrows done or get my Toshiba done, I call it Toshiba. Does anybody ever remember Toshiba? Are they still running Toshiba? I don't know. Anyway, my delicious little babies. So, the point is, okay, is that when we came into the world, let me get back to the matter in hand. As much as we came into the world rich, because this is our true world, we also, there we are, came in poor. Now, some would say, well, how can you come in poor if some mummies and daddies are rich? No. I really just do not feel at ones, there we are getting what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that even for those, after all, you know, it's Puff the magic dragon lives by the sea. It's all printed, ka-ching, 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 ka. So they too, as mummies and daddies, never came into the world. Well, yes, like I've just said, we came in rich. Sorry, let me just get this correct in my noddle. But they came in poor. There we are. Came out delicious little babies, but they had to prove themselves. Let's just say, for some. Sorry, excuse me. Pardon me. Okay. They had to come into the world with nothing too. And then had to prove themselves, there we are, that they could do a job or they would be loyal and, let's just say, sufficient for who was rocking and rolling at the time, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? There we are, if you follow me. So when we actually look at this, okay, getting back to the song that I sang, my baby may not be rich, he's watching every dime, but he loves me, loves me, loves me. We always have a real good time. Because, my delicious little babies, that ones have made it certain in the world where, little men in little suits or little women in little suits, as it became in latter years, my delicious little babies, there we are. We all know all about that, okay? Not wanting babies, just being career women, okay, my delicious babies. I'm not going to call them ladies. Well, actually, ladies are lazy little effers, you know what I mean? So I would say that they are half lady, and I would say they're probably half of another creature. There we are. My delicious little babies, okay? They're certainly not that myself or yourselves. Okay, my delicious little babies, totally selfish. But you have the same with men. So then, you're brought up where you've got to do this, you've got to have a certain profession, or you've got to have something, ka-ching, ching, ching. And then it's got to be a certain class. So you have to have a certain class of a man, a certain class of a woman, so that you can project to the world, whoever's around oneself, that you come from good crop. But if we really go back, my delicious little babies, there we are. We all, there we are, came from, there we are, excellent crop. It's just that not everybody chases ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching to feel full and wholesome. Some can just, there we are, live in the moment. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, I happen to look at Alan Watts, there we are, for years and years and years. So I already know about him, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? What a wonderful dear gentleman. I actually said a few years ago on one of my videos to do with Alan Watts, I love listening. Honestly, I never needed to stumble there. I love listening to Alan Watts. Okay, my delicious little babies, there we are, because he talks damn well common sense. It's like when I've said to ones I used to teach meditation, I used to teach tarot reading. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean, okay? And it's all about coming into oneself, but not everybody can do it. So sometimes they're afraid of their own shadow. Remember what I said on another one of my videos? I'm not afraid of my own shadow. It's not a shadow of my former self. There we are. It is right behind me. There we are, looking after myself. Do you see what I mean? There we are. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies, Kai. So ones must, there we are, trust their own shadow, not see it as what has been projected out into the world. But that song, I'm not going to keep rambling on, is very important, because at one point in life, my delicious little babies, so each and every one of us, we've all maybe, not had a lot of pounds, shilling, pence, dollars and change, mind you. I still do not now. Anyway, I'm not bothered about that, my delicious little babies. At least, there we are. At least I can sleep at night. There we are, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? What can we say about some others? When I proceed with my video, my delicious little babies, how many can say that? In the world, my delicious little babies. There we are, open to question, isn't it, my delicious little babies, Kai? Sorry, excuse me. So the point is, if one's gone on a first date or something, I've been on first date, you know what I mean? Mind you, I've never found love. Because I've never been in love, my delicious little babies. I do not make any secret of it. I've never, ever been in love. Ever. I do not know what it is to be in love. I mean, you can have a bit of lust. Anybody can, but not love. It takes a lot. There we are, all across my shoulder. It takes a lot, there we are, to love somebody. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? It's like you have to put them on a pedestal. They have to put you on a pedestal. Well, you don't have to. It's the way it rocks and rolls. And you have to truly, there we are, cherish one another. To your heart, to your heart. It means that whatever gets in the way of life, that you're still, there we are, on that path. I've never ever found anybody like that, my delicious little babies. I was with somebody in my very early 20s, actually, who was twice over millionaire. Did I want that life? No, I never wanted that life. Wasn't for myself. So you could be dripping in gold. You could have all the jewels that just flowing like a river. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out through you and me, spreading out into the desert, setting all the captives free. I used to sing that in assembly, my delicious little babies. I used to go to an all-girls school, ex-grammar school. Used to have assemblies. I do believe these days I do not have them. But I used to love singing hymns. My delicious little babies, I may not be a churchgoer or anything, but I used to love singing hymns. So what am I really telling you to draw a conclusion to everything what I've just said? You know, taking up over 15 minutes of my video so far, my delicious little babies so far. Remember that furlough. Okay, my delicious little babies, what this is telling myself is that at one time, you know, you haven't got a lot. You may take somebody to the shop for a flipping, you know, a slushy puppy or a, you know, or a milkshake. You know what I mean? Go and sit on a park bench. That's your first date, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? It's not about flashy wheels, flashy cars. Who's got what? Who's got the largest house? Who's got the better clothes? Who's got the better bathroom, kitchen? Whatever it is. It's not about that. If you have a couple who come together as one, you must be as one now to your heart. Okay? Nothing can break it. So sometimes obstacles, there we are, shall we say, get in others' ways. There we are. And it's happened, there we are. How many times over the decades? You could have somebody who's not famous at all. You know what I mean? Why do you think that half of the famous, or a third of them, sorry, do forgive me, a third of the famous go for somebody who's not known to anybody? Because they just want, there we are, that balance of a quiet laugh. So they're in the limelight, but the Mr. or Mrs. is not. My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So you've got that side of things now, okay? And then, of course, you got the other side where you've got two who want to be, you know what I mean? So it's a bit like a competition. That's not a good thing either, my delicious little babies. Me, myself, personally, I just do little videos. I personally do not feel that I bother anybody, that I trouble anybody. You know what I mean? But it seems that with the spying that's gone on with myself, and there we are, and lots of other things that's gone on with myself, shall we say, my delicious little babies, and yes, I did stumble there. The fact of the matter is, one's wanted, there we are, bring the trouble to myself, you know what I mean? But what they failed to understand is, there we are, it's not well on a flipping damn bull. There we are, you know, my noddle, there we are. Ding, ding, dong, dong, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? I'm still being spied on now. You see what I mean? So it may not be all visible. They've got all the potholes everywhere. I put up a shorty video, my delicious little babies. There happens to be one hole over there that's getting, there we are, deeper and deeper. Shall we say, in the grass, my delicious little babies. And then, of course, when I did the video, I put like a handle. So somebody, there we are, had specifically put that there. There we are, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So when I put the video up, but ones are just not getting it. When I put it up, it's like somebody's digging a hole. There's another little hole there. And then if you move along, you've got to keep a handle on it. Doom, doom, dong, dong. There we are. It's all damn well common sense. But this is why when I do my videos, how many, there we are, actually see and hear what I'm saying. Because to myself, this is, there we are, very sadly what we come to. I'm not going to say about everybody, but some mothers do have them. They're just simple things, not getting it. So what am I saying? Does everybody need all of the luxury in life? Does everybody, oh, well, I really need this. I really must have this. No. It is what, there we are, has been put upon us. When we come into the world, we are an innocent little baby, a beautiful, there we are, little baby. And all that we ask for is just to be kept warm, to have our nappies changed, to have love, to know that mummies and daddies, sometimes mummies and daddies are not always together, okay? So I'm not saying that, okay? And sometimes families are not together. Sometimes, you know, it has to go a different way. But the fact of the matter is, all that you want to be done is just like our beautiful little babies who we call our sons and daughters. So please do not get me the wrong way with what I'm saying. I'm just done saying it. We all need feeding and watering. We need to be fed, there we are, and watered and nurtured. That is it. And then comes the battle. Well, it's a battle, isn't it? From the moment that you come into the world, my delicious little babies, but we actually came in rich. There we are, we're full and plenty. And then it begins the real start to the story, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But it's not really a story, it's a real laugh. Now then, my delicious little babies, so I thought I'd just mention it. I just like to, there we are, to explain things now, do you know what I mean? Just so that whoever manages to listen to my videos, YouTubies, there we are, strangling me, not in physical terms, my delicious little babies. My videos just cannot get out at all. Well, this is very severe. Okay, my delicious little babies. So there we are. I'm obviously being punished. There we are, my delicious little babies, because I'm not playing the game. I'm not putting up little animal videos. I'm not just continuing my tarot reading and just shut the F up and just zip your trap. You know what I mean? Because I care about what happens with mankind. I happen to care about what happens to our beautiful little babies. I never needed to stumble. I happen to care about our beautiful nature around us. There we are. I happen to care about everything. But when you do that, your videos don't get out, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Because they just want horror, or they just want you just to be fixated on something else, like readings, like everything else. Now, there we are. Do you know what I mean? Abracadabra, I want to reach out and grab you. See what I mean? So if they can grab your attention with something else, then it means that others not paying attention to other things now. There we are. Do you follow me, my delicious babies? I've known a long time. Believe me on that one. So what we got, I need to speed through this very quickly now, my delicious babies. So this one here is 955,000 subscribers, my delicious babies, all on YouTube. And this uploader, this will be like a one-off, my delicious babies. 2 Ds, birthing capitals, and then capital R, India. It's all together. DD, India, my delicious babies. That's the uploader. I think this was a day ago. Okay, my delicious babies. So what do we have? We have this video should read, okay. Massive protests in Argentina. Well, it's only a matter of time, wasn't it, my delicious babies? There we are, let's be fair. You know what I mean? You've got to shout Prime Minister, President, there we are, over there as well, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? You can see from the start, I was done saying it, there we are, long time, months ago about this, okay, my delicious babies. 3 girls tortured and killed live on Instagram, connecting the dots, my delicious babies, and it's, I think, just over 9 minutes long, my delicious babies. I seen it this morning. Just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Just going over the dots with that. Massive protests in Argentina. 3 girls tortured and killed live on Instagram, connecting the dots, my delicious babies. Now, you're probably wondering, sorry, excuse me, coughing again. Why am I mentioning this? Okay, so we can look at this 2 ways. This could be something that's been, you know, that could be a bit of a hoax. Okay, my delicious little babies, because you've got number 3 there, 3 girls. Okay. However, what this could also be is I've been talking about different things going on, like the dark nets and Dubai, there we are, and everything like this now then. But this happens to be to do with drugs. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, obviously, none of this is connected, but then there we are. It can be connected in a different way. So something, in other words, whether this is AI or whatever else it is, I'm not too sure. That's why I've put this out so that others can sort of, understand, ding, ding, dong, dong. There we are, what I'm getting across. Okay, my delicious babies, and ones can form their own opinions, their own views on something, okay? But if it was on Instagram, okay, which, there has been real life things go on Instagram. I personally am not on Instagram, neither do I ever wish to be. But what I'm saying is that chances are things will go to the darknet, okay, my delicious little babies. And also what I want to say is that, what did they say? It was 45 something. Anyway, you've got to look at the numbers, my delicious little babies. So it's probably a Hertz guy. But then again, it may not be. I think there's something going on. Okay, you got 3:45. Anyway, you need to listen to the short video, my delicious babies, on YouTube, please, and thank you, to see where I'm coming from here. Okay, my delicious babies, okay, they're trying to drum something up, and it's all to do with drugs. And then, they say that the one said this is what happens, which is a terrible thing for anybody. Because if you there we are, a drug dealer, my delicious little babies, and I haven't earned it in my decades, my delicious little babies. And I remember, when was it? I'm going to go, there we are, many years back, where somebody asked myself, oh, bless the dear little soul, and I said, who do you owe to? There we are, my delicious little babies. This is going back, what? I'm not going to say how many years, actually. I said, who do you owe it to? And then they said, I said, so where did they live? So you can't go there, you can't go there. I said, yes, I can. I said, show me where they live, please and thank you. And I went to the door. There we are, I went to the door. And I said, so you want what? Off? You know what I mean? I said, so if you get a certain bit of change, ka-ching, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, I said, then you accept that now. I said, then get off that other one's back, isn't it? You see? So, yes. As it turned out, there was no further problems. Okay, my delicious little babies. But what I'm saying is that, sometimes, there we are, whether it's good, bad or indifferent, okay, sometimes it may not always end up, as smooth, there we are, as smooth cut, shall we say, as what figure of speech, as how that went. But the fact of the matter is that who I knew, who come to myself many years ago and said, you know what I mean? I thought, no. I thought, don't put yourself in a situation, there we are, where you've been threatened like that now. Do you see what I mean, okay? And of course, bless the dear little soul, they never thought I was going to do it, They never thought I was going to go to the door, but I did. There we are. I did. My delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? So, I turned around and I said I wasn't going there begging, no begging bowl. I said, this is what you get and that's it. And it was a tenner. I said, so however much, whatever a clock or whatever owes whatever, bless, and I do not mean that disrespectfully. I says, you get a tenner and that's it. Tenner is better than nothing, isn't it? But of course, when you go back over the decades, if somebody owes a tenner, they take your flipping eye sockets out, man. Do you know what I mean, my little babies? So on that note, it went very well. But me, myself, personally, I do not take drugs. Okay, no, I do not. But when somebody come to ask for my help, there we are, then, do you know what I mean? If I can help them. But I also, because they said that they were frightened of whoever this was. And I thought, no. So that's what I'm saying, my delicious little babies. But okay, I do get it. Sometimes it doesn't always go that way. But that's the thing, you see. In life, you can have ones where they want to man a ship or they want to bully, there we are, or something like this now then. Well, the way I look at bullies is that somewhere in their lifetime, there we are, they have been bullied in somewhere. Do you see what I mean? But two wrongs do not make a right. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? But one's found themselves in these situations. Anyway, let's fast forward, shall we, my delicious little baby, shall we say? But certainly not myself, no. But I was furious and vexed when I heard this, because I thought, don't threaten somebody who I know. Do you understand what I mean? And that's going back years and years and years ago. Who wasn't even old themselves, or only young. Okay, they got themselves into something, they're grown up now, there we are, they're totally different. I haven't seen them for years, but, but don't threaten somebody who I know, no. Now then, my delicious little babies, so that's that, food for thought. Now, the rest, my delicious little babies, okay, are going to be, let me just go on to this, okay, because we've got songs here, so, but before that, please, this dear lady now, she's so beautiful, with anybody not in that way, not in that way. She's so beautiful. She's now up to 816 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And, right, this is all together, all of the words together, my delicious little babies, okay? Word, capital R, word, capital R, in, capital E, edge, then it's not a capital W, it's lowercase, ways, then capital M, matron. So it should read, word in Edgewares, matron. Now, I have advertised her once before, only because she happened to come up. What a blessing that was, my delicious little babies. Oh, such a dear, beautiful, dear lady now, okay? Okay, and this is why I'm mentioning it, okay? I'm so pleased, there we are, that her numbers are going up. This is delightful. Thank you, Debbie, our beautiful little Debbie, bless you, okay? So, this video should read, again on YouTube, my delicious little babies, 7/7 stories, half and 15, Tylenol, yes, I've been hearing all about this, my delicious little babies. Tylenol in pregnancy. Moderna open in the UK, and NHS pregnancy. Yes, my delicious little babies. This video is nearly 7 minutes long, and I please and thank you, strongly suggest, there we are, that ones please take a listen to this, okay, my delicious little babies, okay? It's amazing what, I love little rats, my delicious little babies. It's just a figure of speech. I just adore little rats, just like any creatures great and small, okay? Because they're just looking for food as well, just the same as you and I, okay? My delicious little babies, the only difference is, they try to get it where they can free, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Well, really, if we could all get free food, which is what we should be, there we are, which we should be doing, my delicious little babies, well, wouldn't life be grand? Anyway, but I really strongly suggest that you listen to that. But it's just amazing what little rats will do, you know what I mean? There we are, to try and flipping riddle out of something, you know what I mean? My delicious babies anyway. But I've heard, there we are, been hearing all about this, there we are. This is nothing new to myself, okay? They're trying to, there we are, cover to your core, cover it up no more. Okay, my delicious babies, that's what they're done doing, okay? So when everybody understands now, but please and thank you. I'm not shouting at you, my delicious babies. Please take a listen, okay? And thank you so very much. And Redacted are covering a lot of this on our old YouTube, my delicious babies. They're up to 2.8 million subscribers. Oh, bless the dear little souls. Like I said, with anybody not in that way, okay? But they're covering it as well, bless them, okay? So thank you, Redacted. Thank you, our lovely dear DavidArt.com and your dear sons, Gareth, Jamie, your dear friend Richard, okay? Thank you, our dear UK column. Yes, thank you, our dear Mornings with Mel Care. Thank you, our dear, Stu Peters. I mean, I know he gets a bit carried away. I agree with most things, but there's some that, you know what I mean? But thank you to him as well, okay? Thank you to our lovely, because they're all so beautiful, our lovely The Crow House on Odyssey. Okay, my delicious babies, thank you to our lovely The David Knight Show on Odyssey. Okay, my delicious little babies, thank you to our dear World Alternative Media on Odyssey, my delicious babies. Okay, thank you to our dear The Charlie Ward Show on Rumble, my delicious little babies. Okay, thank you to everybody. because everybody, there we are, is giving input into what's going on, my delicious babies. And when I'm advertising other videos, it's all part, we're all on a stage, okay? There we are. So we've got to play our part on the stage. Okay, my delicious babies, and all I've been doing in the past 3 years is, is just, I do it as a hobby. I keep saying this, it's just giving out the information. And then, you know what I mean? Then, different minds, there we are, can come together, there we are, and come up with some sort of conclusion of how we're going to go forward, not violently, but ding, ding, dong, dong. There we are, using our noddle. Okay, and the most important word is no, 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 no. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, very lastly, so Denise Williams, I've already done Let's Hear It for the Boy at the beginning. Okay, my delicious babies, because ones need to understand that they're worthy, whether you've got ka-ching or whether you ain't got a pot to pee in. That's the point that I'm saying. Okay, we was not brought into the world. I repeat this once again. We were brought in as free, as beautiful, a beautiful bundle of joy. Then we get it put on us that we must put pressure on ourselves, whether you're man or woman. The more richer you are, the more, no, because we're already rich. There we are, rich and wholesome. Okay, my delicious babies, and that's what we must all remember here. There we are, rich, beautiful, there we are, and wholesome. Okay, it's like they tried to do it in categorising different families. No, because there we are, we're all beautiful. Okay, my delicious babies, and that's what I'm done saying. Now, the next one, my delicious babies. Now, because I was looking at another video, which I'll tell you about very lastly, because I was looking at another video, and then I scrolled down and I came across this. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, this one here on YouTube has 117, so 117 subscribers, my delicious babies. That was quite a while ago, it seems. And in the old search engine in YouTube, space bar my delicious little babies, Nancy space Floors, capital N, but it's ANNCY, and then space Floors, capital FLORES. That's the uploader, my delicious babies, with 117 subscribers. I think it was, I think that was years ago. I forgot to put that down. Anyway, my delicious babies, and it's Diana Ross. This is what it should read: Diana Ross, the boss, 1979. My delicious babies. Now then, that has the lyrics, but no singing, minimal singing. Then the next one, my delicious little babies, this upload happens to have 2.67 thousand subscribers, and that was 2 years ago, my delicious little babies, okay? I'm giving you two different, there we are, on this, my delicious babies. Now, this one sings here, but it's also got the words, the lyrics, okay? My delicious babies, Diana Ross, the boss. I'm leading up to something, there we are, my delicious babies, what I'm saying, okay? There we are. Please and thank you. I'm hoping that you're going to follow me. Please and thank you. Coughing again. Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. These things happen. I seem to flipping meet so many these days. My delicious babies, coughs, colds, but of course, what's been going on from up there down here, and you know what I mean? There we are. That's causing everything. My delicious babies. Now then. So let me just make sure that I haven't missed anything. Right, okay. Before I say the last one. Okay, so this one here happens to have 9.72 million, my delicious babies. That's rather high. Okay, my delicious baby, well, colossally high. Okay, on YouTube. But this was 15 years ago, my delicious babies, when this was uploaded. And capital W in the old space bar. With anybody, should anybody have any form of an interest in any of the videos, capital W, I'll repeat, Whitney, space, capital H, Houston. Oh, how I love her so. I miss her to my heart, not in that way, not in that way. I grew up with the music, okay, my delicious babies, but I also embraced, there we are, the music, you know what I mean, my delicious babies, okay? But yeah, she was the bless her beautiful little bit Whitney, you know what I mean? She was done telling everybody a long time. And the Sorry, excuse me. The song should read Whitney Houston, My Love Is Your Love. Yeah, really important, Mads and Little Babies, to please and thank you. Listen to the words, the lyrics are written. Please, with any of the songs, please and thank you to take out, there we are, bits and pieces. How many pieces, bits and pieces. Okay, Mads and Little Babies, please and thank you. So that's that one. Thank you, our beautiful little Whitney now then. And then we got the next one. So this was further on down. Same uploader. 9.72 million subscribers, Mad Little Babies, capital W Whitney, capital H Houston, and it is Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, When You Believe. Yeah, Mad Little Babies, beautiful song. That was 11 years ago, Mad Little Babies, When You Believe. But again, it's important, there we are, to take the words, bits and pieces, from the song words out. Okay, Mad Little Babies, I'm doing my best to get something across here, and we need to go backwards. You see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. Now, finally, and this is the final one. So this uploader happens to have 10.4 thousand subscribers, Mad Little Babies, okay. And this uploader is called, in your space bar in YouTube, capital T, Tony, Turney, space, capital R, Ross, space, capital B, back, then space, capital R, I, in, then capital T, the, then space, capital D, day, then space, capital M, music, then space, then capital V, videos, and then space, lowercase, and ... Yeah, 3 again, Mads Little Babies can. So it should read, once tapped into the old space bar, Tony Ross, back in the day, music videos, and ... Okay, Mads Little Babies can. Now then, this video should read, this is very interesting, my delicious little baby's car. And no, it never came up on my feed. I was actually looking for the videos and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop myself here. And there we are, I'm going to listen, I'm going to write it down. It's nearly 18 minutes long, 1/8, nearly 18 minutes long, my delicious little babies. And it should read, Diana Ross, Supreme, gets Kennedy Honor, Mad Delicious Little Babies, 2007. Smokey Robinson talks about his friend Diana Ross. Okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Okay, please and thank you. Diana Ross, Supreme, gets Kennedy Honor, 2007. Smokey Robinson talks about his friend Diana Ross. Okay, Mad Delicious Little Babies, now I'm going to close my book and let's go back to where we need to go back to. So before I'm over and out, please remember that they brought in, got to make sure that your heels, on your feet are always kept scrubbed, It's lots of twists and turns at the moment, Mad Delicious Little Babies. Lots of twists and turns. You've got protection, but you've also got warnings. Of course, when it comes to women, the way they're treated women, look at that. It's like a crab, isn't it, Mad Delicious Little Babies? You know what I mean? Okay, it's like, dat, 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 dat. You know what I mean? Once they lock you in, especially with women and what they do over the years, Mad Delicious Little Babies, over the decades, you know what I mean? Just to lock you in. Of course, mind you, sometimes maybe a Elastoplast, that's a really old mate, Mad Delicious Little Babies. Maybe they sometimes like to plaster over something, you know what I mean? Mad Delicious Little Babies. Of course, other times, things go wrong. Maybe you've got to cover things up with a bit of a, to do with your old birth race, you know what I mean, to cover the marks. And of course, let's not forget that sometimes things have to be scrubbed away, And then I suppose if you look at Co-op, I was actually given that, hand cream. And of course, other times you just got to, just brush your hair and act like nothing happens. You know what I mean? Mad Delicious Little Babies. But then, of course, you've got to remember the batteries. But we're always going to shine that light, shine that light, shine that light. So very lastly, yeah, please take a very good look. There we are at this video, my delicious little babies. Please, from beginning to end, please, it's so very important to pay attention to the expressions. There we are, to everything. There we are, my delicious little babies. Okay, let's just put it this way: plenty of rainbows and not a lot. Let's just say lighter colour larking things now. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? I'm gonna leave it like that. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunny. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how there we are, love you so. Okay, my delicious little babies, yeah. But no, I'm not one to talk about colour, but it's very telling. There we are, who's right next to our lovely Diana Ross. Okay, my delicious, there we are, little babies. And it's very interesting and very telling to do with our lovely Smirky Robinson. Just to see her, just to touch her, just to hold her in my arms again, one more time. Yeah, because one of the uploaders was called, I forgot to tell you. Oh, that's it. Diana Ross, the boss, 2.67 thousand subscribers, my delicious babies. And the uploader, sorry, please do forgive me, in the old space bar, my delicious babies, Annia's, I'll spell it for you, capital A, Nayas, Annia's Project. Yeah. Okay, my delicious babies, so yeah. Thought I'd leave you all with that. Okay, my delicious babies, I'm sure that there is somebody out there, you know, who just loves Anya. Okay, my delicious babies, maybe likes to have a scrub, you know, or a shave. Just likes to cover things up, you know what I mean, my delicious babies. Anyway, so until my next video, how I love you all so. Sometimes I do not know what it takes, you know, to get things across, you know what I mean, my delicious babies, but there we are, I do try, okay? How I love you all so. Thank you so very much for any views, for any likes, for the occasional comments, which I never receive, but anyway, that's not a worry. Looking at the present climate, you know, even though ones have lots of lovely comments, you know, we certainly do not, for anybody, wish to welcome the pathetic little excuses for little trolls who will take ching, 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 ching and sell the mother down the river or the daddy down the river, you know, just for a bit of change. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? But this is the world that we're in anyway. So you just take care. How I love you all so. You're so super duper wonderful, delicious and beautiful. Okay, and I'll love you so. Thank you. Good night. And if it's day or midday, love ya. Goodbye.